Hi, thanks for checking out our channel here. This is going to be a how-to repair video or test video on a Gallagher M1500 old style purple case unit that they used to make back in the day. These are really good old school units. You can't beat these old ones. These things are just rock solid. Gallagher doesn't make a lot of parts for them, unfortunately, themselves anymore, but we can rebuild the parts that are in there typically on like the boards. We can rebuild the boards. And we can retrofit transformers, and we've got capacitors that are yin-yang for these things. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through this unit and try to get this thing fixed up and figured out. Alright, let's see here. Alright, the note, something pieces of something floating around inside there. The note on it says, not putting out enough voltage, only 3 kV without a load. Alright, it's probably a transformer. Maybe capacitors might be weak. How old is this unit? See this code on there, serial number. Back in 1998, 1999, Gallagher changed up their serial numbers to have a date code format type of thing. But before that were these weird numbers that don't mean anything to me or you. They're just a sequential number, so there's not really any kind of date in the sequence of numbers. But 99, 98, somewhere in that range, 1998. They did the date code format that's still used today. No screws on it, I think. Oh, come on. Ooh. Yeah, some pieces laying down inside there. You can see some discoloration right here. So something's been arcing probably. Ooh. What the hell we got going on here? Let's pull this board out of here. They got this something going on here. That board's probably the original board. It doesn't have a date on it or anything. This is the older style board. Alright, we're going to have to replace that thermal piece there, as well as the capacitor down there. There's a big old hole in the side of it, so I'll have to replace that. Alright, let's check the capacitors out. These are both 30 microfarad capacitors. And they're jumpered together in parallel. So they add capacitors in parallel, add up. So 30 and 30 is 60. So we'll test this here and see if we get 60 on it. There's no polarity, so it doesn't matter black or red. If it goes black or red, we're getting 15. So that means they're both reading about 7.5. So these capacitors are really bad, really low. That's where part of your joules comes from, is the capacitor. So now unplug the wires from it. We'll get these changed out first, because this is the easiest thing to do. This could possibly be the issue why they're only getting 3 kV, but typically, even with them being weak, as long as the transformer is good, you'll still get good voltage up here, but it will click a little faster than normal, and it won't handle the load on the fence worth a darn. But he said it read 3 kV even with nothing hooked up to it. So get a couple new capacitors for it. Come on, get on there. Alright, that part. Now let's, I guess it was good, but I'm going to go ahead and change it because it's got a crack in it right there. Not the capacitor, but the little thermal thing right there is all burnt up. So we're going to replace this and that little black thing. Let me go find it. Well, my solder iron heats up. I'm going to go find a capacitor for it. Alright, this capacitor we're going to use. Same rating as those, just square versus round. But the holes aren't going to line up just right because this is a lot wider contact points than what that is right there. So we're going to have to, when you pull that capacitor, we'll have to drill a couple holes probably and run jumper wires to it. But that's not a big deal. Alright, we'll go ahead and pull the thermal thing off first, see where two holes contacts are on that. Go ahead and pull that off. Now see, it just fell right apart. So that definitely need to be replaced. Look at that hole in the side of that capacitor. It show up. Boom, right there. And the light bulb's burned out, but that's cosmetic. That doesn't keep it from running. This is your power light. Tell you the power's on. It has nothing to do with the function of the unit. So now let's. There's a lot of solder on this. These two tabs here, so this might take a bit of desoldering to pull a lot of the solder off. Move on to this next one. Come on. Come on. There you go. Alright, I'm going to take a flat screwdriver. There's that one. Come on. Okay. There it is, but look at that big old blown that hole in that thing. How long has it been doing that for? Alright. Now let's go and pull the light bulb off too while we're at it. Ooh, excuse me. Alright, let's see. We need the light bulb, which I've got green, red, blue, white, yellow, all these neon bulbs, and they're all in the same drawer, so I don't know what color this is going to be when we light it up. It could be green, could be red, could be blue, white, could be any of them. They're all the same looking when they're sitting there, but when you apply some current to them, that's when they light up, and then you'll know what color they are. It doesn't really matter. It all works the same to the fence charger. Doesn't care what color the bulb is, as long as it's the right type and it'll work. There's that. Get a thermal piece. A piece of it's still sitting there. Come on, again, there it is. Put that one right there in this little hole. Oh, there it is. Alright, we'll take the well, it's missing. That wasn't even in there. There's a little strap that usually goes across here to hold this thermal piece to the resistor. If I remember right, I don't think this one had one in there. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll lift this resistor up a little bit, slide it underneath, and we'll sandwich that thing between the board and the resistor, and we'll smash it back down. Alright, now we need to solder that up and get those leads off there, trimmed off. That way I can set the board down the way so I know where to drill my holes at. So we'll solder that on. Solder that on. Capacitor time. Oh shit. That resistor's broken right there. I must have did that. Alright, I'll have to figure out what size that is and replace that resistor. See, it's popped off the other side of it's right there, so I broke that. Oh well, hopefully got one here that will work. Alright, so we're going to just sit right about there. Let me go get my drill. Alright, let's see. Somewhere right about there. So one leg of it's going to go in there. The other leg. So right there. So it'll fit right on there. Alright, so now I'm going to put something underneath to kind of help hold it there. Alright, and I got a little roll of wire here somewhere. Let me find it. Alright. I'll add some solder to the pad here. Both pads. I'll add a little solder to this one. Add a little solder to this. Trim off some of it, it's a little long. And we'll solder it here. So one side is down. I need to do this side. This side might be long enough that I can just bend that over. Might be long enough, but I don't like that. It's kind of stretching the limit there of it. Add some solder here. Add some solder onto this. Oh, God. Blend the two together. Kind of three spots we're blending together on this one. Okay. All right, now when you figure out that capacitor or resistor, yellow, violet, yellow. I used to have all this stuff memorized, but it's been so long that I've forgotten half the stuff I learned. 470 k ohm resistor. All right, let's see what we got here. The size of these, quarter watt, half watt. Too small. Too small. All right, let me I got this big kit here of resistors that are all the right wattage, but I've got, you know, this many of them on here to dig through. And let's see if it even has it. Yeah, it's got it in there, 10 of them, but that's how they came to me. So I mean, I could add a couple certain ones together to find it, but I don't know. Oh, shit. There it is. Right there. Yeah. I had to dig that far that time. Good. I didn't want to dig that deep because I've had to dig through almost all of them to last like 5 to find the one freaking size I needed. I need to sort through all those and put them in a drawer or something by size and be able to find a lot easier, but I just don't have the time. I'm busy working on stuff all the time, or kids or something like that. Alright, let's pull that resistor off. Let's see, it's like one lead of it's right here. Let's see if we can do this a quicker way, because this can take a long time to suck all the solder off there. Come on, get off there. Alright, we're going to drill 2 small holes. Put one right there. And one right there. Make our own new holes to solder to, or shove the leads through. Put one there, one there. Then we'll bend it over. Put it on top of the spots there. Come on. What's going on here? All right, let's we'll hook it up here in a second, plug it in and everything. Let me just want to test some points real quick. Let's go with it, see what happens. Let's straighten out these pins and spade things so that way it sits nice and straight where it's supposed to. Perfect. All right, let's plug it in, turn it on. All right, sounds nice, decent. That light burned out. We can see it trying to flash, but it's burned out. We'll have to replace it too. Let's test across here. Yep, hook it up there. Transformer is not the issue. Look at that. So we don't have a transformer issue. Not yet. Let me do a ground fault test real quick. Hook this to the ground. Alright, so transformer is not our issue, but when you need to replace that light bulb, let's unhook this wire here. That's not part of it. That's something someone jerry-rigged inside this thing. Oop, that broke. Old plastic. Plastic just broke as soon as I freaking touched it. And that clamp feels pretty brittle. Feels like it's dry. I know what the new one's supposed to feel like, and this one feels old. It feels like it's just twist it the right way to break. Don't like that tab. It's working, but I think we're going to just asking for trouble. Well, let's stop this video where we're at. I'll make a part 2 of that out of this. If you've been following along the whole time, thanks. And we'll put a link in the description down below for part 2. Hopefully YouTube does its thing and puts part 2 right after this video. But I got to make the video first. So I have to upload the first one and then upload the second one. So I got to make a part 2. So we'll continue on.